So I was about to go into my morning meditation, and this is what came up. My intention here is not to promote the use, but is to educate that if you decide to use, then these are the sort of precautionary things to just become aware of. Because I think that this, well, I feel, or rather I know that this platform is about educating us um, around science and spirituality and understanding that they are the same thing from different perceptions and different experiences. Okay. It's like what you experience in the divine feminine energy is going to be different to the divine masculine energy, because what you feel and what you see, yes, it's going to be the same thing, but in terms of the surprise of it, it creates a different feeling too. So, educating around plant medicine, and we've been feared, we've been we've had the fear of plant medicine for so long. And I'm just hoping that this can allow specifically the young ones who are using these things in environments that aren't safe for your nervous system. Plant medicine, what falls under that category, just in the most simplest: cannabis, mushrooms, um, you get ayahuasca, that sort of like category. That is plant medicine. And that's like nature, right? Is the scientific formulation of how to replicate what the plant already does. That becomes okay. That becomes because you're taking, if you're on sleeping pills, you're taking, if you any low blood pressure, blood thinners, whatever, gout, that is a, because it was scientifically made. Some sort of herb was like they tried to replicate some sort of herb from nature to be able to heal, and then some didn't even consider nature. I grew up with someone in my life who was sent to rehab for many, many years, and they would only come back with cannabis. Like the only issue is cannabis. And I was just like, there's no way. Surely, surely, surely. There's got to be something else, because what I read long time ago too is that any medicine that you use, specifically like plant medicine, enhances your natural state and reflects your natural state. So that's why, as it enhances your natural states, and as it reflects your natural states, that's where paranoia can come in, right? That's where what you see versus what is becomes this, like, you feel like it's an induced, it can become an induced psychosis where you just like, what is real? You're trying to understand like what is really real between what I feel spiritually and then what I see in this physical form. Remember, some people think that feel that they are human living a spiritual experience, and then some will go, your spirit living a human experience, and then some will go, it is both, depending on what is arising and what is being reflected. And what is arising versus what is being reflected, if you haven't grounded yourself into yourself, you will fear it. Okay, so this is where like the fear mongering sort of can end a little bit, if I can just say that. If you are using plant medicine specifically, it, like I said, it's going to bring out more of you, because it is a truth it's like a truth serum, okay, if I can put it like that. Another thing to note is, unfortunately, because of what happens in the homes, there's very little connection. And I'm saying not all homes, but what happens in the homes is that there is very little connection between the parent and the child relationship. If you are in a wounded home space, and anything healing is very negative in the family, or what are you healing from, what's your problem, that sort of thing, then you would rarely have a deep connection with those whom you love and those who love you. So what happens is you find connections through friends, but the thing is, you are finding connections through friends who are replicating the familyhood, what you learned through your siblings, through your parents, through any guardian, right? So it goes back. Then, as you are with your friends, you are arising more of you is coming up to the surface, right? So as you are rising more, it gets reflected in friendship. Now, you'll seek your connections through friendships, through lovers, through your work, etc. Then what happens is, because we haven't been trained about safety, and the homes aren't safe, not all, but the homes aren't safe, you'll seek safety in what you resonate with. So there's an understanding. So there might not be a deep connection between you and your friends, but you have an understanding. You relate on this condition that it wasn't safe at home. There was no connection at home. I don't feel like I belong here. So I'm going to find people who want to be able to use the same material or thing that allows me to expand my being and my consciousness. And this is where it feels good for me. So unfortunately, what happens is you escape. Okay, so there's an energy of escape. So if you are going out to a club, number one, if you're combining alcohol and you are combining plant medicine or drugs, that already, just even scientifically, that equation does not match. Okay, it does not match, because there are different spirits that are working in that particular thing. So in your plant medicine, you have ancestry. Ancestry, because nature is ancestors. In your sleeping pills, your heart condition, whatever, those, you are scientifically, you are absorbing that scientific concoction, right? And where was I going with this one now? Because I just literally just lost track. So I was going to plant medicine as ancestry. Plant medicine is ancestry. Science is a replication of ancestry. And then alcohol is little spirits that, um, you know, that, I mean, everything is almost like a takeover in a way, but it's also like, as it's a takeover, it's a draw towards. So I'd say plant medicine is more of a draw towards you to really embody who you are, to release the conditioning that is not who you really, really are. And then the numb, like the alcohol, the alcohol and the it sort of makes you not have any consciousness whatsoever. Like, you're not conscious of what you are doing. Um, okay, so then what happens is you mixing alcohol, plant medicine. That's what happens. When you go to AA, they would say, if someone in your family is using, any person who is addicted to something, whether it's food or whatever, you are addicted to the first high, that first feeling that made you feel alive. So your dosages up a notch if you're not feeling that exact same thing. But remember, you wouldn't catch that same feeling, or you can, but it will just never be enough, because at that time of your first high, you were escaping, right? So you already, your spirit was there, your body was here, there was a huge gap in between. So now what you are trying to do when you up your dose, you are trying to get there. But the more you get there, you realize actually this is there. This is not as good a high as you can feel, right? But you think it's there, but it's the past. So that's what happens, unfortunately, when it comes to like drug use and trying to find that high, because you're always here, but you're living in future and past. And then how do you connect those two together? That's why I said, as you are using plant medicine, your truth is coming out, and then it becomes a mirror. But if you don't know how to do mirror work, and you don't know how to see yourself and to deal with yourself, then that's where paranoia comes in. And that's where what you think what is isn't. Okay. So if you are going to use plant medicine, please make sure that you use it in nature. You use it with people who are safe, who have a safe nervous system, and you are in a safe environment. The music you are playing is not evoking fear. The food that you're eating is not creating heat. It's like, we call this like a tapas, where it's like this. Well, tapas is more disciplined, but it can also be like heat. So this heat of things that are going to flare up. Okay. So make sure that if you are ingesting, pray before you use it. Have an intention before you use it. Be grateful for the plant before you use it. Because, like I said, this is ancestral knowledge and wisdom that you are ingesting if you're either eating eating it or you're smoking it, whatever you have decided. Once again, I'm not advocating for this, but I'm just helping, just educate, because so I do plant medicine, and I specifically with mushrooms. And it's important that when a client comes to me before, it's like a 2-week process of really being intentional about who you are inviting into your space, how the plant is communicating with you, what habits need to be released, what is your diet that needs to change in order for you to be able to get the clearest information through clearing of your lymphatic system. Okay. So I hope this just lessens the fear around it, because mental health is real, and you are going to use what you're going to use. But if you're going to use what we're going to use, we might as well use our platforms to be able to just help and assist a little bit better, because yes, there is induced psychosis if you use like cannabis and plant medicine. But if you do not have the intention, be intentional about everything that you do, everything that you say, every person that you bring into your space, because this is about safety. And once you feel safe, you feel full of yourself. When you are in an environment and you're escaping and you're using this plant medicine and you're combining it with, and then you're combining it with alcohol, you are escaping. And that high that you feel with the connection, you just feel. I had someone that I knew who came out of using drugs, like hard ones. And I remember her saying, which is so significant, is that what shifted for her when they went to the clubs and they were using these things, that everybody felt so connected. And then when the party was over, and you would see them on the street, it was like zombie land. Like people weren't there. They were like, there was such a huge disconnect. And that's why I say, whatever you are doing, pray about it so that you cancel any conflict that could arise in this, right? And we look at like mental health, and we look at all these like issues like schizophrenia, right? Or just like any mental health. When you are not in your body, it goes back to this. You are here. You are looking towards here, but you're looking from here because this was your conditioning. Your conditioning said you need to be here, but you're here. So you're jumping from their expectations, your parents' expectations on you, your guardians, your siblings, the people who said you need to do this in your life. They are here, but you are here. So up until you find you from here and here, you are chasing. Do you see that? I wish I can draw this on a picture, but like you here, this is present moment, this is past, this is future here. They are projecting here and what you need to do, right? And now, up until you live who you are, you living who they are. And then you also, your soul has bigger things for you. So it goes ahead of what they have in terms of expectation, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's just help each other understand a little bit more, use whatever you're doing a little bit better, more safe in nature. Do not combine your plant medicines, your alcohol. Do not combine them. It is a recipe for disaster. Okay. So nature, be intentional. If you're going to do some like, you know, mushroom psilocybin, then plan it in advance. Change your diet, fast about it, pray about it, because like I said, plants are connected to ancestry and they are helping you connect to God a lot deeper. And through that process, you are becoming more of you. So whatever arises and it invokes truth, face it, face it, head on. Don't run. Okay, don't run anymore. Yeah, I think I've said what I've needed to say with that. We're just gonna allow with the intention that, yeah, let's not make us fear what is naturally given to us, but be more fearful of the human who is creating something else in products and normalizing it. I always say that if they have to sell it to you through your TV screens, and they have to sell it to you, like if you think about it, when was the last time they had to sell you oranges or potatoes on TV? They will say a product. Now they will say, hey, use this XY product, it's mixed with this and this and this and this. Remember, everything is science replicated from nature. Okay. So let's just become more aware. Let's not fear. Let's not create fear. It's very unnecessary for our progress as a species. And yeah, let us protect each other. And if you need a consultation and you need help with understanding your plant medicine journey, your use of how to really not escape present moment, your reality in this moment, then please book yourself a consultation.